Hello guys, your boy Genius here with G Squared Tactical, finally getting the CZ P09 F Nocturne on the table today. And as you just saw from all of the shooting, everything at the range was completely flawless. I have been so hyper focused on the P09 C that I've kind of neglected this one. This one was the one that I originally put the Vortex CCW Defender on here, and I felt like when I was putting the screw on here on the right side, the ejector side, it's hard for me to explain what I mean, okay? So in the CC Defender box, it had two sets of M4 screws. I believe one set was an 11 millimeter and one set was a 9.8 or 9.6, something like that. I use the shorter of the two. I always try to use the shortest ones available unless the gun manufacturer specifies exactly what size to use. And so I use the shorter ones, and on the left, the left side here, the screw did not have any resistance to it other than the Loctite that was on there, all the way until it met the body of the Optic, and then it just stopped. It was ready at that point to be torqued. Well, on this side, it met some resistance. I mean, just microscopically short of meeting the body of the Optic. In my mind, I told myself, oh, well, that was just because you know, the Loctite. It caught the Loctite at a different spot or something like that, is what I convinced myself of. But the more I thought about it after having torqued it, mounted it, everything, I just didn't feel good about it. So I went to my Swamp Fox Optic kit. I found me some M4 screws in there that were 8.6. If that's incorrect, I'll put it up on the screen. So if you see a different number on the screen, then I was incorrect. But I believe they were 8.6, millimeters in length. So it's M4 by 0.07 by 8.6 millimeters is what I use. Again, the 9 point whatever, 868, whatever it was that was in the Vortex box may be perfectly fine. I don't know, but I don't want to take any chances of affecting the extraction on this firearm. Anyway, so now that I got that over with, a lot of people have asked what screws do you use. There you go. I addressed that. This Vortex Optic, I like it way better on this firearm than the Holosun 4 or 507K. Not that I don't like that optic. I actually like that optic a lot. I prefer this one on here because it's ever so slightly wider, the footprint at the bottom, and because the controls stick off the side, whereas the Holosun controls are more flush, that little lip where the micro optic doesn't completely fill the void of the slide is disguised, so it looks like it's a perfect fit on there. Again, as I've already mentioned, I wish they would have cut this for a full-size optic, RMR cut something, but they did not. So whatever it is, what it is, hopefully they will do that in the future. But I just like the look of this optic on here a lot better. And also it is a matte dull finish. So, whereas the Holosun was darker and more shiny, so it kind of stood out a little bit on the gun. I just didn't like the look of it on the gun itself. So this is basically a P09 with a few changes. So if you've had a P09, you like a P09, maybe you've sent yours off, had it Cajunized, maybe you've had an optic cut, I don't know. But this is a optic ready P09. The P09, original P09 mags fit. The trigger guard is still squared off in the same way. The trigger seems exactly the same to me. Skeletonized hammer. There's only a very few minor changes from inside and out. There's very few minor changes. As you can see, just like on the C model, there have been changes to the texture on the grip all the way around. Texturing added here from memory pad on the left and the right side. You have a 3-slot pick rail up here. The front of the trigger guard is serrated. Again, those are not new things, just the texturing, just the added memory pad here. The slide lock takedown, decocker, safety, whichever you choose to put in there, has definitely noticeably been thinned down. They don't stick off the frame as much. Whether or not that will affect Kydex holster compatibility with your original P09, I don't know, because I carry a leather holster. If you've watched the channel, I don't do inside the waistband. I carry outside the waistband in a Versa carry holster. And so it works in the holster that my original P09 worked in. So, but again, it's universal. I don't know if this decocker safety or the takedown or anything like that on a molded Kydex holster has any bearing on how it locks in, or if it locks in around the trigger guard, in which case I don't think it would matter. I know Muddy River Tactical makes a holster specifically stated for the Nocturne, so if you want to go over and check them guys out, maybe you can find you a holster over there. I do prefer actually the Vortex Optic on here. Not just because it's a cheaper option. I got this some kind of discount code or something for like $200 out the door. I like it seems like a larger viewing window. Maybe it's not, but it seems that way. I seem to be able to acquire the dot more easily. But again, there's not really much to say. You have your serrations that come across the top here and more defined on the sides. So that is certainly a change. The sights have changed. So on the original P07, P09, the sight slid in from the front and had like a little set screw. I never was a huge fan of those, although they did work. I did have a front sight slide out on me one time, not while I was shooting, just while I was cleaning it, I noticed that it come off a little. So, you know, that always sketched me out a little bit. I like the dovetailed front sight. I like the change on that. The night sight, they're a good set of sights. Serrated on the back, they're green in color, but they work. I like them. It does co-witness lower 1/3 with this CCW Defender. Ton of fun to shoot out at the range. No malfunctions whatsoever with hollow point, with some of the crappiest ammo I had on the range. It did, again, as the original P09, it did come with two 19 round mags, so you have 19 plus 120 rounds. I prefer this one over the P07 or the P09 C because, again, I just like a more full-size gun. Being 47 years old, I'm a little bit old school, if you will. So this has become, well, at one time was my truck gun, but now it's on the nightstand with my X300 Ultra from Surefire on here, and that's this. So this has become my nightstand piece. I only put about 300, maybe 350 rounds through this gun. I have not abused it the way that I did the P09 C, and the ejector on this one seems exactly the same as the ejector on that one. And again, this thing was slinging some spent casings. Like, I had no issues with it. Some of the underpowered ammunition, some of the more junky ammunition I was using, yeah, maybe a little bit, but for the most part, it was slinging brass. I mean, it was not having any issues with that whatsoever. Again, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on this. Takedown is the same. This is everything that the P09 C Nocturne is, just larger. Just a little longer in the grip and in the slide area here, but all the same gun as your original P09 was. If you enjoyed that, if you loved that, if you always wished it would be Optic cut, well, here you go. And MSRP on this, $549. I think I was able to get it at a gun show. Actually, I know I was able to get it at a gun show. Tax and all was like $530 out the door. I suspect it'll probably land somewhere around, $4.5 plus tax at some point. Like I said, 19 plus 1. Same fiberglass reinforced polymer on the frame. Single action, double action, obviously. It has the luminescent sights. Yeah, see, some people call them night sights. And, but they are technically luminescent sights, which I've said before that I prefer. I like them. Same 4.53 inch barrel. The width is 1.5 inch. Feels very 1911ish in the hand, like the other P09. Feels absolutely amazing in the hand. The weight on this unloaded is 29.2 ounces, so you're holding something. It's got some weight on it. CZs, just like FN and some, H and Ks, are just built like tanks. The overall length on this is 8.2 inches. And again, it did come in the box. I prefer the decocker. That's how I prefer to carry. Pull that first shot from a double action. That kind of serves as my safety, just in my opinion. You can disagree with that, and that's perfectly fine. But that double action trigger, feeling as though, I don't know, I haven't checked it, and I haven't really looked into it, but it feels as though it's 10, maybe 11-ish pounds. Could be totally off on that. The single action feels, 4.5, maybe something like that. The trigger's okay. It's not competition worthy trigger, but it's a good trigger. I have no problems with it. I've always carried P07, so I'm used to the trigger. I have no issue with it whatsoever. Anyway, there she is, the CZ P09 F Nocturne. Great pistol. Totally trust this pistol. Again, I am carrying the compact version of this, and this one is on my nightstand. Totally trust it. Totally could recommend it to you guys. Sometimes you have to drown out some of the noise that you see on YouTube. And, you trust what you trust. I hope you trust me. Please go over, consider supporting me monthly, just $5 a month. I'll maybe try to create some higher brackets at some point when I can offer some exclusive content. Get your voice over there. I can more easily communicate with you on that platform. and because it's getting to the point I can't really communicate or answer all of the messages that I receive through the YouTube app. I appreciate all the messages, all the support, and I hope I can continue to keep doing this, and hopefully YouTube will stop being oppressive to the gun channels. But either way, please consider supporting me on Patreon. And also I'm on Rumble, but yeah, I don't really get a whole lot of traction over there, but I am there if you want to go over there and hit me up on Rumble. Check out gsquaredtactical.com. I have a lot of shirts, hats, things like that that I need to sell. Go over there, check them out, buy you a hat, a shirt, a cup, help support. And as always, make sure you know Jesus Christ is your Savior. It's a beautiful day that the Lord has made. Hit the thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, and as always, to God be the glory.